the thing about a show is that it always has a series finale. And some may be good, some may be not so good, and some are just terrible. Hello, this is There For You here, and I would like to talk about the top 10 best series finales that I have ever seen. So, before anyone asks, this is actually my opinion, and mine alone. So, don't criticize me for not putting in things like, well, Friends or 6 Feet Under. Sorry, but those two that I mentioned are not on the list. Just because I haven't even seen much of them. Anyways, to start off, we have number 10, Dan vs. Summer Camp. Dan vs. has been one of my favorite shows from when I was a kid. Quite underrated, but it's pretty funny, in my opinion. It's starring Curtis Armstrong. For those who don't know, he voice played Snot from American Dad. So anyways, in this episode, and even though it's a series finale, Dan actually reveals his origin story of how he became the revenge-hungry, hot-tempered, lovable jerk that he became today. Sorry for my stuttering. So basically, here's how this episode goes. Dan revealed to Chris's wife that he and his friend Chris went to the summer camp together, and it was a bad at summer camp. It's full of bullies, and the sadder part is that their camp director encouraged the bullying. And I thought that summer camp from the Addams Family Values annoys me badly. So, yeah, Mr. Tedesco is a tyrannical asshole. I will give Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters props for voice playing the guy. But anyways, Dan has had enough with the bullies, and so he decided to get his revenge on those bullies and Mr. Tedesco, and planning to burn down the summer camp. But yeah, this is also this is a pretty great origin story. And yeah, he succeeded for a lot of things. Also, it even shows some of the skills that Dan has had over the years, like making fire, and also knows how to make good plans. So yeah, that's number 10. Number 9, Operation Interviews from Codename Kids Next Door. I got not much to say bad about it, other than kind of wish that the Galactic Kids Next Door would have a series. But yeah, I'll admit it does have some flaws, but it actually ends a story pretty nicely. So yeah, basically in this one, everyone, the K&D operatives and the villains had to go on a scavenger hunt to, get the birthday cake from the delightful children. So, long story short, the K&D operatives of Sector V, he did one, and number 1 has been chosen to become the Galactic Kids Next Door. Oh, and I gotta point this out. Turns out number 1's parents are actually K&D operatives. If you haven't watched the K&D movie Operation Zero, you would know who his dad is as number 0. But it's also revealed that his mom is 999 herself, the very first female operative. But yeah, it was pretty sad that number 1 left. But he did eventually return to Earth years later. Sorry, that's my cat. Number 8, Endgame, Part 3, Seeds of the Future. Transformers Beast Wars has been a pretty popular show. So they decided to make a sequel, Beast Machines. And let's just say it's a mixed bag. Basically mixed reactions. Some say it's okay, some say it's not that good as the original. But you gotta admit, Endgame Part 3, he mainly revolves around one final showdown between Optimus Primal and Megatron in this episode. And boy, it was a great showdown. And yeah, Megatron ended up having the body of Optimus Primal's body from Season 3 of Beast Wars. But Megatron also mentioned minus the Beast mode. So yeah. In a desperate attempt to save Cybertron, Optimus Primal sacrificed himself to make sure to put it into Megatron's tyranny. So yeah, at least Optimus took Megatron down with him. And it actually had a pretty nice ending to the Beast Wars and Beast Machines series. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And yeah, it does have a happy ending. Number 7, Behind the Eyes, from Prison Break. For those who don't know what Prison Break is basically it's a show that's starring the 2 guys that played Captain Cold and Heatwave from the CW Flash series and Legends of Tomorrow. So yeah, this episode actually had a nice conclusion to the series. He's dead. Well, Michael had finally... he'd take down the man that framed him and his brother after 7 long years. So he thought of a plan to finally take that man down, to take Jacob down, and, well, finally cleared him and his brother's names once and for all. Oh, and you got it. Well, you gotta give this ending the credit. It's Jacob got karma ended up getting karma because, well, his cellmate is this criminal, I think his name's Teabag. But yeah, Teabag wanted revenge on Jacob for killing his son. For killing Teabag's son. So yeah, it's a justifiable punishment there. Yeah. Number 6, So Long Sonic, from Sonic X. Yeah, I gotta point this out. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't. But Sonic X has been an amazing show. I don't care if it's 4Kids version or the original Japanese version, but you gotta admit, the ending actually shows the aftermath of the final battle between Team Sonic and the Metarex. And what also actually is pretty nice is that, well, other than that fan game Sonic Omens, it actually wrapped Chris Thorndyke's story pretty good. Even though I can't stand the character. So yeah. Yeah, my favorite part about that one is that Eggman and his associates were actually nice enough to let Chris head home. Basically, it's a one-way trip back home. And well, it just ended with Chris returning to Earth, and well, everything's back to the way it was before before Sonic and his team came to Earth in the first episode. Number 5, Nice While It Lasted. From BoJack Horseman. BoJack Horseman is one of those dark sitcom comedies. It's about a washed-up, drunk, and anthropomorphic horse. Yeah, he didn't want to accept the fact that he's just washed up. And well, his selfishness and nonsense had finally come back to bite him in the butt. So, yeah, he ended up in prison for 14 months. For breaking and entering. So, yeah. He actually admitted it's honestly for the best. It helps him stay out of trouble. And a chance to better himself. And as for his friends, they all actually moved on when he's in prison. His old roommate Tom he got a job and has his own apartment, and actually reconciled with his mom and stepdad. Well, first his stepdad and eventually his mom. And Mr. Peanut Butter is actually on a bit of a journey on finding himself. And Princess Diane, not Princess Diane, it's Princess Carolyn. My mistake. Princess Carolyn, she actually moved on and got married to someone that's actually, well, a healthier relationship. Other than BoJack. And as for Diane, well, she moved on with her life. She moved to Texas. This with her then boyfriend, now became husband. And, oh yeah, I gotta point this out. In this one, it's kind of hinting that after the wedding thing, I think BoJack and Diane aren't gonna see each other again. As it's kind of hinted like that. But yeah, you gotta admit, at least BoJack actually managed to finally learn from his mistakes and took responsibility for them. Number 4, Saul Godd from Better Call Saul. This one is actually a great conclusion to the Breaking Bad universe. And I'll talk about the other finale in a bit. Basically, in this one, Saul Goodman and Jimmy McGill, as his real name, he finally got caught by law enforcement, and he's spending 86 years in prison. Yep, he finally fessed up to everything that had happened. They conned people out of their money and all that. And, well, he even admitted... And, well, he kind of admitted that, well, thanks to Saul, Howard's dad. And I feel bad for when Howard died. All he had to do was listen to Chuck, and all this would have been avoided. Actually, all everyone had to... at HHM had to do is to listen to Chuck about Jimmy. But no one listened. But they didn't realize he was right until it was too late. But anyways, Saul Goodman finally owns up to everything that's happened. And he decides for the best that he spends the rest of his life in prison. So yeah, it was actually good for him, to be honest. Number 3, Real Folk Blues, the two-parter. This one is in the classic anime Cowboy Bebop. Basically, in this one, Spike Spiegel's past has come back to haunt him, especially when Vicious is out to get him. And he actually got to see his old love interest. But unfortunately, their reunion was short-lived because, well, one of Vicious's associates ended up killing Julie. So, yeah. It's actually a pretty darn shame that Ed wasn't in the finale, because before the two-parter, Ed and the dog Ein actually went off on their own. So yeah. Yeah, that episode is sort of a penultimate episode, so. And what is awesome about this finale is Spike's final confrontation against Vicious. Yeah, he went on a rampage. He's raiding through the building to get to him. And well, Spike did eventually defeat Vicious. And well, it's kind of unconfirmed if Spike Spiegel is dead or not. Some may think he's still alive, just lost consciousness, and some believe that he is dead. I kind of think he might be dead because of the blood loss. So yeah, no one really knows for sure after that. Alright, number 2, Soza's Comet from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This 4-part series finale is actually a pretty awesome finale. Aang and his friends and his rebellion against the Fire Nation has finally been put to the test. Aang has been pretty reluctant on wanting to kill the Fire Lord, because understandably so, because, well, he was raised to be a monk. Okay. And anyways, Aang had his final showdown against Ozai. But, even though he didn't kill him, he actually gave him something that's worse than death. So, yeah, he actually learned energy bending from a turtle or lion thing, which, well, Ozai finally, well, Aang took away Ozai's fire bending. Because of that, he's no longer a threat to anyone or anything. But my favorite part about the finale is actually this final showdown against Zuko and Azula. Because, yeah, throughout the Season 3, Azula is actually starting to reach her breaking point at this point in the finale. Well, she realized her father doesn't give a shit about her, which made things worse with her mental health. And before anyone asks or forgets, no, her dad is not the reason why her breaking point started. It actually started back in the Boiling Rock, when her two friends May and Ty Lee betrayed her. And yeah, when as time passed, she banishes everyone because of her paranoia. She even saw a hallucination of her own mother, who she thinks that Azula's that her mom thinks she's a monster. Which kind of sort of makes sense, but yeah. So, eventually he snapped when she is finally confronted by Zuko and Katara. That's what I love about it. Also, the ending is pretty nice too. Everyone gets all the good guys got the happy ending they got. Katara and Aang finally kissed. Well, a real kiss, but yeah. And finally, number 1. Felina from Breaking Bad. Where do I begin with this episode? This episode is amazing. And people ranked it number 2 on the Breaking Bad series. So yeah. Walter White is, in this episode, Walter White is tying up every bit of loose end and that he needed to do before he'll eventually die. Because, truthfully, he's been slowly dying anyways. He's throughout the series because he had cancer. And yeah, even though he's decided to make things right, the damage is already done. Everyone that he knew before he became the meth kingpin hates him now. Even his own family. And what is pretty satisfying is that he actually admitted to Skylar that he actually did it for himself. At first it was for the family, but over time he did it for himself. That it made him feel alive. Yeah, which is pretty sad, really, because sadly, before he became Heisenberg, he's been pushed around his whole life and been taken for granted, which is pretty sad. And the best part is the final moments. Walter White confronts Jack and his gang and sets up that booby trap of a machine gun. That was awesome. And oh yeah, after the booby trap is over, Jesse killed Todd, which is super satisfying, along with Walter White killing Jack the same way that Jack killed Hank Schrader in Ozymandias. Yeah, Hank Schrader is Walt's brother-in-law. But yeah. And Walt decided to let Jesse go. Oh, and one last thing that he actually did to tie up his last bit of loose end. He actually poisoned Lydia. Because, yeah, he's like, you feeling under the weather? That would be the rice that I gave you. I slipped it into that stevia crap that you always put in your tea. Oh boy, that was so funny. Anyways, the series ended with Walter White decided to spend his final moments before losing his life he spent it in a meth lab, the one place that made him truly happy. Which is pretty sad, actually, because, he's been pushed around his whole life. So that's it for my top 10 best series finale list. So this is There For You, signing off.